Hey guys, it's Jeff. I hope you're all doing real well today. This is going to be part 4 of the MiniArt 3-ton cargo truck, the Opel Blitz 1/35th scale. In this video, I want to get the engine and the transmission together. Okay, so let's go down to the bench and see what we can do. Be right back. Thanks, guys. All right, here's all the parts that make up the engine. Okay, this is the air cleaner here. These parts are extremely tiny. This was in 2 pieces and I glued it together already so I could work on the seams a little bit. Okay, I might still work on them a little bit more, but from past experience working with these real small parts, I've found that the air cleaner and carburetor are really easy to break off because they stick way up in the air. So I'm probably not even going to install those right now. I'll just keep them handy. So let's go ahead and see if we can get some of this put together. We've got the 2 engine halves. Let me grab some of my white tack here. Really handy stuff. We'll just grab this on the back a little bit, keep my fingers away from the joints. Here's the other half here. We'll dry fit it. Make sure everything fits good. Okay. While I'm thinking about it, I wanted to mention that a buddy of mine, Vinny, from Gemini Scale Model Works, is currently in the hospital. I hope he's going to be all right. Last I talked to him, they had not made a diagnosis yet. So Vinny, I hope you get to feeling better real soon. And I'll put a link to his channel in the description in case any of you guys want to go over there and, give him a get well soon note or something like that. Okay, there's that. That should be good. Let's do the oil pan. And it's got to go this way with this rounded part. Over there, okay. Very, very, very little glue required. Just a little more. Okay, that's good. Then we've got the valve cover, and the valve cover is keyed. There's a little notch here and there's a little bump in there. I've already test fitted it, so I'm sure it fits okay. But just a very small amount of glue is all it's needed. I thought about wiring this engine, putting the spark plug cables and things on, but I've decided not to, not on this one. They are just so small. Okay, there's the main parts of the engine. It's kind of funny the way the instructions broke things up. They have you build the engine and put some of the accessories on it, and then they have you build a transmission and then come back and put more accessories on the engine. So I'm not sure just why they're doing it that way, but I'm going to just get the engine built up in one. So this is the front of the engine. Here's our timing chain cover. And these 2 little bumps right here are our motor mounts. And they will fit in these holes right here. So when this is all said and done, we can test fit and make sure they're all aligned really well. We'll get just a little bit of glue on here. Just try and get that as straight as you can. That looks good. Okay, and then we've got a water pump. And this is keyed again. It's got a half moon, a half circle, I should say. Go here. We want to turn it the right direction. Just like that. Okay. And then this is, I guess what you'd say is the upper thermostat housing. I haven't quite figured out how the upper radiator hose is going to connect, but this will go here. Okay. Just like that. Okay. And then on this side we've got the intake and exhaust manifold and the generator to go on. This is the first kit I've ever seen that actually has the bracket for the generator. That's really good. Usually they just kind of let the generator hang out there or suspended on the end of the pulley on the fan belt. This one actually has a actual bracket molded into it. So it's going to go here. And this may need to be slightly adjusted to make sure all the fan belts and everything line up. Something like that. And then there's a little pulley that goes on here. Like that. And then we have, this is the fan belt, and I want to put that on and make sure everything lines up. That's going to need a little adjustment, but that'll work. Okay, that lines up good. This needs to be twisted around just a tiny bit. There we go. Okay, that all lines up really well. The only thing left here to put on is the fan blades, and I'm going to do that in a little while because they're pretty fragile too. So we've got the exhaust manifold, which goes in these holes here. The exhaust manifold actually broke when I was cleaning it, so I fixed it, and it's all good now. Okay. And then the intake manifold goes right above it. There's actually part of it. They actually fit together. I've found with engines like this, especially you're going to be burying them mostly under the hood. I used to paint all the parts individually and then assemble them, and I always was marring up the paint. I tend to find that you're only going to see the very top of the engine anyway once it's in place, and it's easier to put it together and then paint it the major color and then hand paint with a brush some of the details. It doesn't seem to be quite straight. There we go. Okay, let's get some stuff on the other side here. And we've got the distributor, an oil breather, and a fuel pump to put on this side. So the distributor will go here. Very, very tiny. Sorry if you can't see. Just like so. And then we've got the fuel pump to go here. And it is very tiny also. Trying to find a place to grab it where I can't, where I don't mess something up. Okay, I think that's in the right spot. That's a little high. There we go. Okay, and then we have this breather right here. We'll go right here. I'm probably going to have to use the tweezers on it too. Oh, it's a little bit too far back. There we go. Okay. Then all we have left is the fan, and I'm going to hang on to it for a little while. It's pretty fragile. I'm going to set this aside and let it dry, and I'll get the parts out for the transmission. And we'll go ahead and get the transmission built up. There's our engine. You can see it. Like I'm afraid to touch it. There's the other side. Okay. All right, I'll be right back. Thanks, guys. Here are the pieces for the transmission. We've got two halves. Now I'm not real happy with the seam here. I'm going to have to look and see. I imagine it's just going to go right up underneath the floorboards. You're never going to see it, but you can see that's not a great seam there. I might fill it. Let's go ahead and glue this together. Let's see here. It's probably going to be right up underneath the floorboards where you're never going to see it anyway. Okay, it goes this way. Whoops. Yeah, let me put a little more glue on there since I pulled it apart. Okay. Just trying to keep my fingers away from the glue. Okay. Leaves a little bit of a seam there. On the back side, we have this, which fits in a recess real nice. Hides that seam. There's going to be a little bit of seam on the bottom that I might have to do something with. Okay. Squeeze that a little bit. Well, we'll see when I get it all done. Maybe just a little sanding will take care of the bottom. Okay. Now on the bell housing, we've got this piece that goes in. Glue it all the way around. I probably mentioned it a number of times before, but I'm not using Tamiya Extra Thin. It's in a Tamiya Extra Thin bottle, but it's actually Tamiya airbrush cleaner. It works just as well, and it's much cheaper. Okay, there's that. And we've got a couple of motor mounts that go on the bottom here. And this one goes here. And then we've got one that goes over here. Okay. And then this whole thing goes in here like this. Just like that. Okay, and then the starter goes here, and it's keyed. Just like this. Sorry if you can't see. Just like that. Okay, there's our transmission all built up. I'm going to put just a little more glue on here and give it a squeeze. Maybe I can close that joint up just a little bit. That improved it. All right, I'm going to hold this for just a few minutes and I'll be right back, and we'll attach the transmission to the engine And then I've got a gas can we can go ahead and get built up. And then I'm pretty much out of parts for right now. So be right back, okay guys? Thanks. Here's the transmission. The glue is a little bit tacky still, but that improved that seam quite a bit. I'll sand it when it's really firmly, dry, and if I need to fill a little bit, I will. But let's go ahead and attach the transmission to the back of the engine now. There's a slot here and a tab here. It's pretty positive fit. Slide in there together. Somewhere like that. There we go. We'll hold it a second and then I'll check for straight. Okay. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, let's go ahead and get the frame over here. We've got two little pins here and 2 pins in the front that are supposed to line up here. We'll just double check and make sure they all do. Front ones fit really well. Looks like this needs to be forward. Okay, front drops right in. Well, maybe I'm going to have to wait till this firms up a little more. I'm going to put a little more glue right in there. Okay, I'm going to set this aside for a minute and then we'll test the fit. In the meantime, I've got this that needs to be put together. This is one of my containers I 3D printed. I haven't even really cleaned it up yet, but it fits in those grids I was talking about the other day. Now this has got a piece of photo etch. This is kind of funny. The German cans have got like a funny seam in the middle of them, and MiniArt gives you a piece of photo etch to put in between there to represent that. They give you enough parts for 2 cans, even though the kit requires 1, but they only give you 1 piece of photo etch. Whoop, I want to do the other side, the one with the pins up. If they'd give you, and it probably wouldn't really look much difference with or without the photo etch. But having the photo etch in there just represents that seam a little bit better. These just sit right over those pins. Now there's really no reason to use CA on this. It sandwiches the PE in between 2 pieces of plastic, but the 2 pins are enough surface to glue to hold it all together. So I wouldn't even worry about using CA on it. And it's all going to go into a carrier, a gas carrier, and it's going to be locked in there to where it can't come apart anyway. Okay, pull that off there now. Okay, that's about all there is to that. And then we've got this. It'll sit right here. Double check. Just like that. Okay. Quite going down in the slot. There we go. Okay, and then we've got this little spout, and it really doesn't have any kind of a location. I think it goes this way. Pretty sure it does. Let me just check my references here real quick. Yeah, it goes with the catch facing up. Like that. Okay, that's all together. Nothing much to that. Okay, we'll set that aside to dry. We'll come back to this. This is firmed up pretty good now. Let's see if it fits the locations that it's supposed to fit into. Whoop. Gonna break it yet. That sits right there, really nice. There. This needs to be turned forward just a tiny little bit. Those are, yeah, it's coming apart on me, but you see what I'm talking about. I'm going to have to let this set, and I'll double check it off camera. Okay, but I think that's going to do it for today. Okay, we'll do I'll get a few more parts ready and we'll do another video here real soon. Okay, guys? Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And you all have a great day. Okay, bye-bye.